Joining us now is our friend, former Congressman Pete Hoekstra, former chair of the House Intelligence Committee. And, of course, you saw him here and heard him here last Friday filling in for me while I was off for Yom Kippur. Hello, Congressman.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you, sir?
Hey, great. Boy, I had a good time on Friday. That was a lot of fun. You've got a great staff. You've got a great group of listeners. And, you need a break or a vacation, give me a call.
Will do. No, I do have a great staff, and we do have great listeners, and it's a fun show to do. And I'm glad you were able to do it. Very proud that you sat in this chair. Let me ask you before we get to your piece that you wrote for FoxNews.com the other day, and that is the president doing what he did, saying what he said. He's come under attack even from the left. We had Richard Wolff here from MSNBC also criticizing him, saying that Republicans are bad, and do Republicans really want to, and he used the words, hurt people, all this while the shooting was, being investigated and unfolding, and they were picking up the bodies a few miles away. How is that possible?
Well, I think one of the things that, and it came up, we talked about it a little bit on Friday on your show, is, the president can't get beyond Chicago-style politics, and it's partisan politics almost all the time. Even as he was trying to get the votes for the Syrian revolution, to get the okay to have a strike against Syria, what did the president do? Every time he got up and gave a speech, including that Tuesday night, he keeps mentioning Iraq and Afghanistan. Well, when he's doing that, what Republicans hear is, I'm not going to screw up like Republicans did in Afghanistan and Iraq. And it's kind of like, Mr. President, get over it. Don't bring up this anymore. You need Republicans. You're going to need Republicans over the next 2 weeks as we hit the debt ceiling, as we hit the end of the year. Get above it. You're the President of the United States. You've been elected to 2 terms. You don't need to engage in partisan politics. Rise above it. President just can't seem to do that. Bill Clinton was able to do it. George Bush was able to do it. But
that goes right into what you. Sorry to interrupt, but it
right.
just dovetails right into what you wrote about at Fox News, which is asking the question, why can't Congress master the simple art of multitasking? And as you point out, this has been done before, where various issues are addressed at the same time and consensus is reached. Look, I'm not against not reaching consensus if the compromise is bad for the country or bad for, you believe it's bad for America, and you just don't want to go there. I'd rather have nothing happen. But as you point out, in the past, presidents have made the effort. Presidents have not just done nothing but trash his opposition and the other party. It has to lead to nothing getting done.
Yeah, it really does. I think, Fox News asked me to write something. I was talking to them. They said, hey, why don't you write something about Congress's inability to multitask? And I think what they were talking about was, why can't Congress be talking about the debt ceiling, the continuing resolution, and Syria all at the same time?
Right.
And I looked at it a little bit differently, and I said, the multitasking is, and like I said in the op-ed piece, Bill Clinton and Newt Gingrich were awesome at multitasking. Everybody remembers them as kind of, very tough and effective partisan politics. They could be as hard on the other party as anybody. And at the same time, they always found a way to, kind of come together on policy. We reformed the welfare system. We cut taxes. We grew the economy. We balanced the budget. So those guys were able to be partisans, and they were able to lead their parties in governing. They were political leaders, and they were governing leaders. And that's kind of what, Congress and the president can't do right now. It seems like they're partisan politics all of the time, and they can't find a little bit of time to get in the back room and cut some political deals and get America moving.
Yeah, no, it does seem that way. You're absolutely right, and I don't know that it could change. It's been 5 years with this. Well, 2 years the president had basically a carte blanche to try to do anything he wanted to do because he controlled the House and the Senate. But after the first 2 years, so for 2, now 3 years, it's been this way. And do you see any hint of it changing at all?
No, like I said, I thought the perfect time for the president to change was when he desperately needed Republican votes on Syria. He knew he was not going to get enough votes out of his Democratic Party to get him to 218 votes. He was going to need Republicans, and if that was the perfect time for him to say, hey, we're not talking about the past anymore. We're not going to talk about Libya, Egypt, Afghanistan, Iraq. This is the future. This is really, really important. We got to get this right. Let's rise above partisan politics and let's focus on getting the job done in Syria. And he didn't. The night he gave the speech, last week Tuesday night, I about a quarter of the way through, I just kind of hit myself, and you pound your forehead and say, God, why didn't I do this? I wanted to just put a line on a sheet of paper every time he mentioned the word Iraq or Afghanistan. But, on foreign policy, that was the time for him to really set the tone and set a tone of, hey, we're going to govern and we're going to do Syria right, and that would have led into a much better discussion of, very tough things, the debt ceiling and the continuing resolution. But, no, I don't see any signs of it at all. I talked to a bunch of members on the Hill today. They don't know where they're going to go and where we're going to be at the end of next week when, we end up at the end of the fiscal year. And Congress has not passed one appropriations bill through the House and the Senate and gotten it to the president for the president to sign. I mean, usually they do 13. It's not every year they get them all done, but when's the last time they didn't do one?
Absolutely, and of course, Congressman, on Thursday there's going to be, I think, 3 separate hearings on Benghazi, and we get word today from Frank Wolf of Virginia that his office was informed about this CIA employee who was, refused to sign a non-disclosure, as reports that we got several weeks ago indicated that anybody in the CIA or who was involved with Benghazi and knew the story had to sign a non-disclosure and was forbidden from talking to the media or the Congress. And long story short, he refused to sign this, and now he's been suspended and has hired a lawyer. There must be you're led to believe there's so much that they are hiding here. I'm talking to a lot of folks about Benghazi. In my former role as chairman of the Intel Committee, you've got lots of friends, lots of sources. Everything tells me that you just kind of feel it. You got the instinct that there's something terribly wrong here, and you've got leadership, and this is maybe where they are being bipartisan. You've got leadership on both sides of the aisle for some reason are not letting the Benghazi story be to be told. I think Frank right now, he was on the show on Friday. On Friday, I told him, I said, hey, Frank, you got 172 co-sponsors for your bill to have a special investigation. Right. And he cut me off and he said, no, I don't. I've got 174. I just picked up 2 more this morning. Well,
and
what
that was
the
Friday,
heck?
So he may have 3 or 4 more.
Well, what's with Boehner? We don't have time, Congressman. That'll be for another time.
Next time.
Yes, but thank you very much. Always good to talk to you.
All right, you bet.
Thank you. Congressman Pete Hoekstra, former congressman and former chair of the House Intelligence Committee. When we come back, our friend Lise Wheel of Fox News joins us. We'll talk about guns, and we'll talk about her new thriller on the Steve Malzberg Show right here on Newsmax TV and radio. So don't you go away.